Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect, okay? Those of you who are awakening in these latter days, coming back to the Most High God, Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, via the sacrifice made by his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, all right, our mediator and high priest and way back to the Father, through whom we have received the Rahakwadash, the Holy Spirit, all right, to fulfill a great prophecy standing on our feet, all right, separating, all right, from Babylon the Great, separating from the biblical Edomites in their lies, and ultimately walking in faith towards the promised land, all right, walking in the steps of our forefather Abraham. Okay, and as we've been prophesying, it's speaking a lot of things into existence, and ultimately what it's speaking into existence is the end of Esau's world, the end of the reign of the biblical Edomites, all right, which is the last prophecy, ultimately that needs to be fulfilled to bring in the kingdom of heaven, all right? And before that, there's a few things that have to happen as well, all right? The MOTB, which they can no longer hide their intent. Everywhere you look, you see that in World War III, all right? Which pretty much all of these nations are on the brink of war, okay? So we know, according to Revelation, the 7th chapter, that once the elect are sealed, okay, we're going to see all hell break loose on the planet Earth. And we've constantly told you that the elite are watching. We're constantly told you that they're going to wage war on the Israelites, as well as anyone who's speaking against their narrative. Okay, and as you can see in the news and the media, everywhere you look, they can no longer hide their true intent. They can no longer hide their plans. So as we told you, you're getting ready to see many left-hand miracles, false flags, scare tactics to sweep under the rug what everybody's figuring out. All right. And what has everybody figured out? All right, that the elite are pretty much at the forefront of everything. All right. In Sweden, all right, you saw, all right, a wanted poster, and it had all of the faces of the elites that are at the forefront, all right, of everything happening in the planet Earth. Okay, and their narratives are failing. Their scare tactics are failing. People are waking up. All right, so they're getting ready to wage war, as you can see the title of this video, as we're in the news. Okay. UN, United Nations, declares war on dangerous with conspiracy theories. Now, I say with because this word, as you can see here, all right, con means with, spire or spiracy means to breathe. Okay. And, going back to the Bush administration, as things started to get out about, the so-called illuminated ones, or the enlightened ones, because that's all illuminated means, or the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call it, things started to get out, all right, and their plans and how they wage false flag wars, all of these things were getting out, and he threw out pretty much at that point, we can't give heed or listen to any of these with conspiracy theories. And from that point on, anytime you brought up something that the elite or the government were doing, they could just throw that term out there and ultimately be able to sweep what's being said under the rug. Well, it's not working anymore. And this all is aligned with biblical prophecy, okay? As the scriptures say, you would be in straits, okay? It says the world is not secretly manipulated by, all right, a global elite, which they prided themselves on secrecy, but what does prophecy say? I have made Esau bare. How are the secret things of Esau worked out? And we also know that according to Exodus, the 17th chapter, that the Lord himself, okay, of course through Yahweh Shai, of course through the angels, the chosen people on the earth who ultimately have the testimony, he would be at war with Amalek, all right, who's pretty much the head of this all from generation to generation. And we're seeing that war play out in the earth as they're waging full out war against the Most High via their technology. They're trying to X him out, trying to X out his son. They're boasting in some very, very strange and off weird things that, the common people should be worried about. All right. And they're being outed. As the scriptures say, the king of Babylon, let's get that in the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. And I saw Apostle Tahar and a few other brothers have went in on this. So brothers are already on the case. Okay, and this is good news for us. Okay, but we also have to know things are getting ready to change. Okay, this is Jeremiah 50 and 43. The king of Babylon, okay, have heard the report of them. Okay, the report of what? These prophecies, the prophets raising up. Okay, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. Okay, so they're travailing. All right. Also, you have here Job 20 and 19, because he have oppressed and forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away the house which he builded not. And that's America. All right. As well as everywhere else they colonize. That's why in particular movies like that movie Black Panther, which is fiction. Okay. But you had that term colonizer grow. All right. And Jake's, and people start to refer to these Edomites as colonizers, because that's what they do. Okay. It says, surely, and then they celebrated with holidays how they stole your land, and then tell you to forget about it. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. This is where they are, because you have to think these people have all of this money, all of this influence, all of this control, yet they're worried about the lowly speaking particular talking points. Okay, because there's power in words. How much more the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which are being spoken through the lowly, the remnant, the elect, which ultimately the talking point of the elect has led to what? There's a spirit out there on all races, all people, to what? Speak against what's happening. Okay, because it's clearly evident, all right, that they're getting ready to do something very, very wicked. It says, he shall not feel quietness in his belly, and he shall not save of that which you desire. You're not going to win. All right, there shall none of his meat be left. All right, because your riches are corrupted. James, the 5th chapter. Therefore shall no man look for his goods in the fullness of his sufficiency. All right, he shall be in straits. You see that? In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right. In the fullness of his sufficiency. Let's see if we can get this in the NLT. All right. In the midst of plenty, they will run into trouble and be overcome by misery. Now it says that every hand of the wicked shall come upon them. And when you look up the word wicked, okay, it's Imal. Salakia, Imal. And who's that? Imal is what? The laborer, the sufferer, the wretched one. Okay, the laborer, the workman, the sufferer. Now, real quick, when we get James, the 5th chapter. Okay, and it's not just of the nation of Israel. All right, the working class who pretty much work their asses off to keep, as slaves to keep this man's system going. All right, they're being treated like SHIT. Pretty much what you see happening is, with everything that's been happening since 2020, pretty much the middle class is being wiped out. And the policies and the things that they're doing is making the rich richer and the poor poor. So this is James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. And one of the miseries that's going to come upon you is the prophets being raised up. This is your worst nightmare. All right, now I'm going to jump down. Verse 2, it says, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Now right here, James 5:4, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of armies. Okay? The laborers which have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. All right, you keep back, all right, what you owe to the laborers, all right, by your system of payment. You're supposed to pay a man the day he works. All right, you pay a man every 2 weeks or monthly so that you can take out more taxes. Okay, you keep people in a perpetual state of want. All right, the cost of living is increasing. The cost of food is increasing. The cost of gas is increasing. People can't keep up. People are in debt. All right, but amongst the people who are complaining, there's the elect. Okay, and that has led to a talking point that they want to wipe out of the planet Earth in the spirit of Cain. They want to wipe the sacrifice out of the planet Earth, because as we're praying to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as you can see here, the cries reach to the Most High via what? The high priest in the heavens, who presents the prayers of the saints. You see, this is why what we're doing is likened unto a sacrifice. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. See, well, we're living in a time where finally the elect are separating from you devils, man. Okay, and that was something that was going on amongst Jake as well. All right, but as we know, wisdom is double. So the laborer, the wretched one. Okay, let's read this again. Job, the 20th chapter, in the 22nd verse, in the fullness of his sufficiency, when he's getting ready to establish his NWO, he shall be in straits. Okay, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. So the laborers are getting on his nerves. His slaves are now rebelling against him. And you have many facets of that. All right. But what we're speaking from is the aspect of the truth, because we're slaves in his captivity. When he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Okay. So this is what's happening right here. All right. You're being revealed. Okay. And what do we know about the Edomite? Okay. Unrighteous decrees are how he's been able to use corruption to forward themselves. And how much more here? The UN declares war on dangerous with conspiracy theories. The world is not secretly manipulated by a global elite. And let's look up this word conspiracy real quick. I have the etymology. Conspiracy, it says a plotting of evil. Okay, so you're telling me that the United States of America, the beast system, the bankers, all of that, there's nothing that they've plotted ever. See, and you have this guy here going hand in hand with their plan, as you can see here. If this is Vocab Malone, all right, he's on the same tip, showing you they're all working hand in hand. He's just, sent by someone who's on that level. And he's not working alone. It says if you're into Hebrew Israelism, you're probably into what? With conspiracy theories. And you see people on the comment board talking crazy. Okay. You see people who are into Islam on the comment board, which is a lot of, this guy himself has a conspiracy to link us to Islam. All right. And we've been telling you for years, this guy ain't going to go away. And a lot of people say, why do y'all give him any the time of day? Why do this is deeper than just this guy. And as we always let you know, he's coming in the spirit of Haman. Okay. In another life, he's done exactly what he's trying to do, and he's doing it now. This is why he continues to come up, because he's a part of something bigger. So as you can see here, if you're into Hebrew Israelism, you're probably into conspiracy theories. And then you see here, the UN is declaring war on these theories. Okay. And what is a C theory? All right. We'll call them C theory, or with conspiracy theories, whatever shit. A plotting of evil, unlawful design, a combination of persons for an evil purpose. You mean to tell me, okay, that this country and everything linked to it is not a part of any with conspiracies? So let's read a little bit of this. Okay. It says the United Nations has declared a war on these theories, describing the rise of these theories. All right. In the way that people think that use these or as worrying or dangerous. Okay. And providing the public with a toolkit to pre-bunk or debunk anybody who dares, all right, to suggest that world governments are anything but completely honest, upstanding, and transparent. See, that's going to have to be your mindset towards the government, okay, and the globals, the elites. You're going to have to say that they're completely honest, upstanding, and transparent. Okay, and then laws are getting ready to be passed to where these are going to have to be your talking points, because they're getting ready to establish that NWO. You see, this is absolutely crazy. And this is how you know they're losing. All right, when you have to force people to say you're righteous and upstanding, okay, you're wicked. Okay, when you have to force people to call you righteous, you're wicked. Okay, let's get the book of Isaiah, the 29th chapter, in the 18th verse. In that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. And this is what's happened with the remnant. You see, the meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men, okay, the wretched ones, shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. Okay, and that mindset automatically means what? We're not going to have too good of an eye towards you Edomites or you heathen, because awakening to the truth sets you free. You see things as they are. All right. You start to understand who you are, why you're in the position you're in, why your people are so divided, why the people who are on top are on top. You then start to understand biblical prophecy, and you're able to put the pieces together through the Holy Spirit. That's us seeing out of obscurity. And this was the last thing they wanted to see. As it says, Revelation, the 11th chapter, when the people who saw us wake up, saw it, they automatically got scared. Okay. Revelation 11 and 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood up on their feet, and great fear fell on them which saw them. All right. Not just because, well, the fact that you have so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming to the understanding of who they are, that alone scares Esau, especially when he sees Judah. Anything Judah does, okay, he's watching. He's trying to figure it out. He's trying to figure out a way to undermine it or to stop it or to make them look crazy. That's what vocab is also set up to do. But great fear is falling on them because of what we're saying. See? Because what we're saying is going to lead to the very next verse, where we're ascended up into heaven, all right, via World War III is going to be happening on the planet Earth, and we're going to be beamed up out of here. Okay? Call Halal Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. And the narrative of the Christian church and plantation Christianity has weakened. Okay? And the powers that be in this world are coming against the scriptures hardcore. So you would think a Christian, okay, you would think a Christian like this guy would be going against the powers that be and the wickedness that's happening in the world. No, he has an eye set towards us. Why? All right. Well, just like Haman, let's get that in the book of Esther, the 3rd chapter. All right. And when Haman, now who's Haman? Let's just look him up real quick. Haman. Haman. Okay. This is when you see us calling him Haman, that goes back to this story which led to Hanukkah, dealing with Mordecai, Esther, who her real name was Hadassah. But Haman means magnificent. Okay. He's an Edomite. All right. Now, what did it say? Chief minister of Ahasuerus, enemy of Mordecai and the Jews, who plotted to kill the Jews, but being foiled by Esther, was hanged with his family on the gallows. So he had a plan put in place to where he was going to have us blamed and put us out there as crazy so that we can be persecuted and hung at the time of the Persian Empire. You see, but when you read the story, okay, he lost. Okay, so this is Esther 3 and 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath, because these Edomites, all right, and Haman is a descendant of Agag, which is an Edomite that we had friction with at the time of King Saul and Samuel. Okay, and we've been at odds with this nation of people, all right, ever since the womb, going back to Jacob and Esau. How much more do you think that's going to take place in this time? So Haman was full of wrath. Why? Because Mordecai bowed not. Haman was promoted to second in command, showing you Esau's always wiggling around. Okay, he's not even of the Persian line, but what did he do? He got up in there, okay, and when he got power, he immediately tried to think of a ways to have us put to death. What do you think he's doing now? So when Mordecai bowed not, let's look up this word bow. Okay, Mordecai didn't bow. It was an order to bow to Haman, but Mordecai didn't bow. And right now there's an order to bow to Haman in the sense of everything that they're presenting and everything that they're getting ready to try to do. And there's a resistance. There's people waking up all over the world, okay, and he's like, damn. So we have to wage war on the people. These videos ain't getting ready to be on YouTube no more. Particular talking points won't be on the internet, period. All right, the word is karai, to bend, to bow down, okay, to kneel down, to kneel in reverence. And see, that's what Esau was used to us Israelites doing, kneeling in reverence. But what does the scripture say in Isaiah the 10th chapter? Okay. Isaiah 10 and 20 says what? And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped, okay, of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. All right. So we're no longer going to lean on you Edomites for support. We're not going to believe in you anymore. We're not going to reverence you anymore. We're not going to bow to you anymore. Okay. We're going to lean upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. See? And that's what's happening here. The remnant are turning away from his ass. All right. But even his own people are losing faith, and the rest of his slaves. All right. Although there's more people who believe in him than not, there's a mindset and there's a particular talking point that is irritating him. Okay. And it's all centered around us not bowing to him. Same thing happened in the Babylonian Empire, as Nebuchadnezzar made an image that everybody had to bow to. Okay, whenever this music was played, if you didn't bow, ultimately you were going to be bound and put in the fire, put to death. Okay, verse 5, Daniel 3 and 5, that at that time you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the sack, the harp, the psaltery, the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, that ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king have set up. And whoso falleth not down to worship, all right, shall in the same hour be cast in the midst of a burning fiery furnace. See, this is where the times that we're coming into as that which is then is now. We're in This is the Neo-Babylonian Empire we're reading about, but we're in Babylon the Great. So their mindset is whoso falleth not down, okay, to worship, all right, ultimately you're going to have to go. And that's what the Georgia Guidestones was all about, right? What did they say? Right? Which, how in the hell can you not believe in with theories? How in the hell can you not believe that there's a plotting of evil going on, an unlawful design when you look at the condition of the world, all of these children missing, all of this wickedness going on? How in the hell can you say that someone who believes in these things is crazy? Okay? Because ultimately you want to make a man an offender for a word. Okay? So going back here to Daniel, at this time that they made this order and decree, okay, Jake, all right, in particular Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were of the king's lineage, all right, they were of the seed of David. Okay, they were of that lineage. It says, verse 8, wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. See that? They accused the Jews. Why? Because they refused, okay, to bow to that image. All right. And the image at this point is not so much of a carved out gold image that they would bow to in the sense of that, but it's this whole system, the image of the beast. Okay, which they're ultimately trying to solidify their footprint in the earth and make a name for themselves, just like what's trying to happen at the Tower of Babel, and have everybody come up under a one world government. It's on the money. It's in particular wordings and statements that are associated with various things, man. The UN, everything. The EU, they all have slogans. All right, many tongues, one voice. Okay, and many more things. So the Jews were accused here at this time. Okay. So it says the UN also warns that George Soros, the Rothschild, and the state of Israel must not be linked to any alleged conspiracies. There you go. And that goes to what we said earlier. Oh, man. Exodus 17:16. For he said, because Yahweh have sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So that talking point that the Edomites are no longer in the earth, that's over with. They're here. Okay, the generation of them are ruling now. Okay, so there's a war brewing. All right, and the war ultimately is for a particular voice or talking point to be rooted out of the earth because it goes against, okay, the powers that be. Okay. UNESCO has teamed up with Twitter and the European Commission and the World Congress, you see that name, to launch the campaign dubbed Think Before Sharing, Stop the Spread of Sea Theories. See that? The UN wants you to know that events are not secretly manipulated behind the scenes by powerful forces. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, really? The devil himself is just telling you this, and you believe him? See? But you think a Christian will be against them. No, he's against us because he works for them. He is them. Okay? So there you go. You see the link. Give me 1 second.
If you want to, but there becomes a preoccupation a lot of times with them. Okay? And you can say Hebrew words if you want to, but there becomes a preoccupation a lot of times with them. Okay? And then lastly, conspiracy theories. This isn't directly related to their beliefs. I'm just telling you a broad category of a lot of Hebrew Israelites adopt lots of conspiracy theories. Now, one out of every, I'm sure, 100 or something like that, conspiracy theories has some kind of truth or something like that. But there's a key element of Hebrew Israelism, conspiracy theory, about all kinds of things. But if you think about it,
You heard them. 1 out of 100 of them may be true. All right, but when you deal with the Hebrew Israelites, that's their talking point. Now, when you go into prophecy, it deals with conspiracy, the whole thing. Okay, when you read John, the Revelator's vision in Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, it's a conspiracy that they're gonna, all right, do particular things or have particular people have particular things in order to be able to forward themselves in the planet Earth, in order to be able to, have goods or sell them. Okay, that's exactly what that is. All right, we go into the prophecy where it says, let's get it real quick. Psalms, the 82nd chapter, or Psalms 83. All right. And 3, for they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us come together and cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. This right here explains everything that we're reading. A plotting of evil, unlawful design, a combination of persons for evil purpose, to plot. Okay, what this guy himself is doing is a conspiracy.
their central claim is a conspiracy theory. The greatest identity theft and swap of all time has happened.
So he calls what we do identity theft. You see, and whose identity does he say we stole? Okay, the small hats, the 1948ers, the people that are currently inhabiting the land, saying that they are the people. You see that? That's what's happening here. He's showing his alliance and who he really works for. And when he came to Dallas, I told him this to his face, that you are one of them and that's who you work for. And he could do nothing but smile. Okay, you think this guy just woke up one day and thought to dedicate his life to the Israelites? No. This is his job. This is what he was sent to do. Okay, why do you think he has another video called How to Spot a Hebrew Israelite? Because they're coming after you. You're getting ready to be labeled a domestic terrorist. How many times do we have to tell you this?
Do you see what I'm saying? Literally, the people of God, as they would put it, have been replaced by another people, and those other people forgot who they were. Do you see? The main claim is a conspiracy theory.
And when you go to Ezekiel 37, all right, the Israelites would fall away. There would be a falling away. They would be dry bones. They would not be in the spirit. They would have to be preached to by prophets, and they would raise up. You see, they think that their narrative of plantation Christianity is going to stand forever, and it's being challenged and it's being obliterated. Okay, going back to the book of let's see, Isaiah, I believe, Isaiah the 29th chapter. Well, this is a good one. Psalms 37 and 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy. Okay. The descendants of the slaves, the descendants of the Israelites who were cast down. All right. The Lord said their offspring, a remnant of them, will wake up, and they want to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of an upright conversation. Let's get Revelation, the 12th chapter, one of my favorites. Revelation, the 12th chapter, in the 17th verse, says, and the dragon, which is the revival of ancient Rome, if you read this whole chapter, which that is fulfilled in Babylon the Great, NATO, and the EU, okay, which the UN is a part of that whole thing. It says, And the dragon was wroth, angry with the woman. The woman is Israel, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah and Mashiach. So vocab is a part of that war directly that the Most High will have with Amalek from generation to generation. They're getting ready to come after the woman. Why? Because she's keeping the commandments of the Most High and have a particular testimony, which what? Exposes everything that they're about, exposes who they really are, exposes their true intent. Okay? So a lot of Israelites, they get into the spirit, they're like, well, why the hell you address him as a waste of time? And that could be at times, but he's not going away, and he's a part of prophecy. He's a part of a very important part of prophecy, all right, that is taking place right before our eyes as we just read it. Okay, the dragon is going to come after the woman. Now, is Vocab Malone himself the dragon? No, it's a system. And this is how they operate. They send particular agents. They pay people off. Okay, and he's going to move up the range. You think he's just some low-level guy here? He will be on the news as an accuser to give them the spill on the Israelites. Okay, and to what? Tell them what we're all about, which is what Haman did. When you go to the book of the additions to Esther, okay, there was a letter written, all right, by Artaxerxes to his kingdom, and this is what he said. Okay, this is the additions to Esther 13. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second here. And we'll start at 3. It says, now when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, what? His, the establishment of his kingdom, his authority. Okay. Haman, it says Ammon, but Haman that excelled in wisdom amongst us and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity. All right. Which pretty much he played the role. All right. And, did what he had to do to become second in command amongst the Persian Empire. Okay. And had the honor of the second place in the kingdom. Okay. Declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was a certain scattered, okay, there was scattered a certain malicious people. This is what Haman told him about us. That had laws contrary to all nations and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward. And does not that sound like, okay, this guy here? You see that? Who's pretty much over the years painted the narrative that we're terrorists, okay, that we're this, that we're that we're troublemakers. Okay, well, that's pretty much the mindset he set up to spread. And you may think it's something small, but he's actually a part of something very big. Okay, it looks like just as an ordinary guy who's mad at niggas, but nah, this is deeper than that. Okay, so basically, we ain't going to be able to establish our kingdom with these scattered malicious people. Let's look up the word malicious. Let's look that up. This is how they look at us. This is how they're presenting us. Okay. And your top slave, raising up against you and no longer listening to your Christian views and your religion, that would make you mad, right? It says harboring ill will, enmity. Woo! Enmity. Now, did not the scriptures say that the seed of the serpent, okay, would have enmity with the seed of the woman being Israel, the seed of the serpent being Edomites? See? So they're pointing out our hostility towards them. Okay. But what they're going to try to do is present us as what? Physically harming unto them, which then they're going to be able to pass a bill to get us off and then physically harm us and attack us, showing ill will, spiteful, wicked. wicked, malicious, badness, unpleasant. This is how they're presenting us. And it's going to go on the news station worldwide. This is getting ready to get big. Okay? It says they had laws contrary to all nations. They laugh at the fact that we say you're not supposed to eat swine. They laugh at the fact that they say we should keep the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to the best of our ability. They would rather us to be jumping up and down, stomping in the church, making a damn fool of ourselves. They're comfortable with that behavior. But to see you get serious-minded about the Lord, they don't want to hear that. So they're presenting you as troublemakers. Vocab is basically coming in the stead of Haman here. Okay, it says, seeing then we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition to all men. What people? The Jews. Differing in the strange manner of their laws. All right, because it's funny. A Christian hates the laws of the Most High. To bring up the laws to the Most High to a Christian, all right, you're absolutely crazy. Now, we're not saved by the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, but when you look at our nation of people, that would be the best plausible thing to do with the condition you're in. Your health is destroyed. You have no trust, no honor among your men and women. You have nothing but disrespect, rebellion, alphabet behavior. The best thing for our people to do is to the best of their ability, stop what they're doing and keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to the best of their ability. That we're not saying you're saved by the laws. Okay, because the first covenant was broken, but the law still stands. And we're the people who the Lord gave those law, statutes, and commandments to. Okay, so to teach a doctrine that you don't have to keep the laws is wicked. Okay, they don't want you to have life. They were okay with you accepting all of these various different cultures and everything else you're doing. Now, you coming into the fact that you're an Israelite, keeping the laws, they're coming after your ass. Again, why did the serpent or dragon come after the woman? Because she what? The remnant? Because she kept the commandments of God and had the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Okay? So again, this is the letter wrote by Artaxerxes, and he's mentioning Haman. Seeing then, we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men, differing in the strange manner of their laws, and evil affected to our state. They don't want us to establish our order. They're talking about their kingdom, working all the mischief they can that our kingdom may not be firmly established. And they're going to bring up particular points. They're going to show Jake doing ignorance, all right, to paint this narrative, all right, that we're working mischief and physically trying to harm them and doing wickedness and this and spray painting buses and trains and doing this. And they're going to pull up these weird stories where these weird off dudes who ain't really a part of the camp that was on the social media saying shalom. They're Israelites. They're trying to kill everybody. We got to pass a law that this can stop being spread in the planet Earth. All right. We can't firmly establish our NWO if they're wiggling around. Therefore, we have commanded that all they that are signified in writing to you by Haman, who was ordained over the affairs and is next to us, shall all with their wives and children be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity, the 14th day of the 12th month of Adar to this present year. So ultimately, there was getting ready to, a decree was getting ready to go out that it was going to be lawful to kill the Israelites. Okay, well, something similar is getting ready to take place, but this time they're going to mix it in with people who have particular talking points. It's going to be lawful to throw your ass in jail. Okay, because again, they hate him. Okay, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. Give me 1 second here. Amos 5:10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. So they're getting ready to pass laws, okay, that are ultimately going to attack upright conversation. Okay? And of course, it's aimed at us. All right, but that's gonna be it ain't just gonna be the Israelites. But as the Lord says, when they come, then shall the people know who are the chosen, because he's gonna lift up a standard. Okay? So Isaiah 29:20, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed. That's what's happening to these Edomites. All that watch for iniquity are cut off. Vocab's a part of that. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. So they're getting ready to make a man an offender for a word, and they're laying a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Okay? And that's what they're getting ready to try to do. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Okay? And he redeemed him because that chosen lineage was what? Off into idol worship at that time. What the Lord did was redeemed him and made a covenant with him, giving us inheritance rights back to that land. Okay? He had him tithe to the high priest Melchizedek. All right. So through walking in the steps of Abraham, we now have access back through faith. Okay. To that land. All right. And the people over there in that land is being found out they're not fitting the narrative of prophecy. So what are they going to do? They got to go ahead and get this party started and make a big mess so that what's happening, the reality of what's happening, can be wiped out. That's what they think they're going to be able to do. Okay, Jacob shall now not be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale, which is symbolic of us being in a docile state. We now have life. Pale is what? A lifeless, meaning you're void of life. Well, we now have life via the Holy Spirit. And that's the worst thing for the Edomites at this point. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name. Aren't we doing that? And sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the God of Israel. And they that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. And they're mad. Okay, they're mad. Okay?
And a lot of them believe this is known by the elites and hidden. And so a lot of times they think Hollywood's in on it, because they'll say Hollywood's ran by Jews. Jews know the truth, so sometimes they think they put it in movies to wink at the audience, basically.
See? And this is stuff we say, right? Now, who owns Hollywood? Huh? Who owns the music industry? Who owns the banks? Who owns Monsanto? Now, you would think a Christian would speak against those particular places, but no, he's speaking for them. He's not against those agendas that are being pushed from those industries. Why? Because they're ran by his people, him. That's who he's fighting for. Okay, we can sit here and go back and forth all day. Who was he fighting for? The Amalek. It's clear as day. You mean to tell me that ain't hitting messages in movies? Get out of here, man. Look at this one.
And before I do the beliefs, let me give
How to spot a Hebrew Israelite.
you some outward things about sort of maybe how to spot a Hebrew Israelite. If you know somebody who likes to wear fringes, little border maybe down.
How do you spot a pedophile? So there you go. I mean, we don't have to we can keep playing it, but I mean, we clearly see what they're getting ready to do. And Jake walking around, all right, making it your purpose to let everybody know what you're about, all right, in the sense of you're at work wearing fringes and all of these things. That's gonna work against you. Now, if the Lord is with you, okay, hey, you'll be good anyway. All right, but the scriptures tell us to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. We're walking behind enemies' lines. Okay? Now, yeah, and a lot of you've given your social security number to these leaders. You're in the system, like you're literally linked into a Hebrew Israelite database. via your leaders. When you go to camps like IUIC, you have to give over your name, your address, your social security number, right? Well, that you're linked into a database. Okay? So y'all are going to be the main targets first. Okay? And the churches were never linked with the system. The true churches of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua were never linked with the system, and they met at each other's houses and did the work, all right, where they could. Okay? So you're going to have to say that the government is completely honest and upstanding. Okay? It says, never mind the fact. Let's see here. Yep. The UN wants you to know that these events are not secretly manipulated behind the scenes by powerful forces. Okay, now what does the scripture say? And then shall that wicked be revealed. And then shall that wicked be revealed. See? So get that. Gotta get that. So this is proof that they're wearied in their counsels. They're worried. Proof that they're worried. If you got to do this, you're worried. You're losing. If you got to do a video, how to spot a Hebrew Israelite. If you got to do videos every day, Hebrew Israelites, with all of this wickedness going on, then ultimately you're losing. What we're saying has affected your mind. And that's the power of the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And it's not us, it's the words. They're sharp. They cut like a two-edged sword. Okay? They want you to believe that the tabernacle of David being set up as in the days of old don't mean what it says. As this brother Karatazah, elder brother Karatazah, GMS Vegas, sit downs 144 guy. Yes, vocab. You and the nations will certainly be slaves in the kingdom, and they don't want to hear that. That is the gospel. That is the good news, according to Isaiah, the 61st chapter. the tabernacle of David being rebuilt as in the days of old is synonymous with having heathen under us. They don't want you to think the kingdom that's coming is going to actually be a kingdom for the Israelites. So they've lied. They've spread all of this misinformation. They've tried to spread this fake love around, and it did not work. You lost, vocab. It's over for you. Okay, the gospel is exactly what it is. Isaiah the 61st chapter means exactly what it means. Okay. 2 Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed. Okay, and Paul in this chapter is telling you that the end ain't gonna come until that wicked is revealed, and the time for him to be revealed wasn't at that time, because a lot of Israelites back then thought because the Messiah came on the scene that the kingdom was getting ready to be set up, so they were depressed. Well, he was like, no, there's more prophecies that got to come to pass. Esau wasn't revealed in that time. Rome eventually fell. Right? They were ruling at that time. Then they eventually fell. Then the Byzantine Empire came. Then eventually the deadly wound was healed. And he would go throughout the four corners of the earth and do his wickedness in his little season, which is just about up. 2 Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's what's happening now. Okay, we're in the process of the wicked being revealed, which is going to lead to the chariots coming and destroying his ass. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they may be saved. And a lot of our people are on vocab's comment board telling him they agree with him, and the camps are the bad Israelites, and they're the good ones, and yada, 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 right? Well, they're under that Babylonian juice. Okay, and his lying wonders also deals with how he's manipulated the scriptures, because his lying wonders is what? Pseudos. Pseudo-science, pseudo-religion, pseudo-this, pseudos. conscious or intentional falsehood in a broad sense. Whatever is not what it seems to be. Okay, and you think vocab really cares about the truth of the Bible? No. Okay, I mean, he, for his mission, he puts on this Jesus, suit and acts like, but they don't give a damn about righteousness. They don't want the kingdom to come. They want this to continue going and you to continue to believe in them. They don't want the kingdom of heaven to be set up on earth. They damn sure don't want the throne of David to come. See? So he's been able to hide himself through perverse, impious, and deceitful precepts. Okay? Case in point, we go to Isaiah 61, which is the good news, right? The gospel. All right? Isaiah 61, okay? And 1, the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, which Yahushua quoted from this prophet Isaiah. He quoted this book, okay? Which means he believes in the whole book of Isaiah, which deals with us having you in captivity in various different parts, okay? The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because the Lord have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison of them that are bound, which the prison starts in our mind. Now, when you keep reading, a part of the good news is what? And strangers shall feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and vine dressers. And when you look up the word plowman, all right, a car, plowman, husbandman, farmer, working the land, yet not owning any of it. That's going to be the state of the heathen in the kingdom. Okay, and yes, you will learn righteousness, but there's a sword coming. There's a rod of iron coming to you. There's a payback coming. So we bring this out, and vocab said that ain't what that mean. And they'll tell you this means everything else but exactly what we just read. You see? That's those deceitful precepts, how they've taken the Bible, all right? They gave you the slave Bible where they took out the stories that would, galvanize your mind and make you to remember yourself. They took out everything and they presented them to you, plantation Christianity. And the fact that we're no longer into it, now we're the biggest problem on the planet Earth. Now we got to put a stop to this. See that? So it's ironic that he's going into, this, and then the UN, because they're hurt. And the UN also just told you what? We're one miscalculation away from nuclear annihilation. UN chief warns of global conflicts as Ukraine war pushes nuclear risk to highest level since Cold War. So they got to hurry up and do what the hell they got to do. Okay? The Haragma's coming. Okay? War is coming. And the deliverance of the elect is what follows, man. It got to happen. Okay? Let's see here. This is the book of Sirach, the 51st chapter. Okay? In the second verse, for thou art my defender and helper, and has preserved my body from destruction, from the snare of the slanderous tongue. We're getting ready to go up against a very slanderous tongue. And that's a part of their sword. Okay? Their tongue, their propaganda, their witchcraft, their ability to just make a law out of nowhere, scare the people, and justify right and unrighteous decrees. And from lips that forge lies, and has been my helper against mine adversaries, and has delivered me according to the multitude of thy mercies and the greatness of thy name, from the teeth of them that were ready to devour me, and from the hands of such as sought after my life, and from the manifold afflictions which I had. Okay, and vocab has been amongst various Israelite camps. He's never felt threatened, maybe ignored, maybe we talk loud. He's never been threatened. No one's trying to harm Vocab Malone. He is going to present that narrative any way it goes. From the choking of fire on every side, and from the midst of a fire which I kindle not. So there's going to be a fire, all right? There's going to be things arising that we didn't do that we are going to be blamed for. From the depth of the belly of hell, and from an unclean tongue, and from lying words. Okay? And we're in the belly of the beast. Okay? By an accusation to the king from an unrighteous tongue, my soul drew near even unto death. My life was near even to hell beneath. See, he's accusing you to the king, just like Haman did. Okay, he's accusing you. This is an accusation. Okay, and now they're tying it to what? With conspiracy theories. See that? They compassed me on every side. There was no man to help me. I looked for the succor of men, but there was none to help. They're going to have us on the news. You're going to have to be low key. You might have to even be in a wilderness somewhere. Okay? You're going to be wanted. Watch. All right, but the Lord is going to deliver us, and this is our rites of passage. This is what we have to go through. And we've been prepared for this since we've been out preaching. All kind of accusations and lies have come up against us, and none of them have stood. But they're getting ready to bring it on a whole nother level. And now they have the wording to justify it. Now they can say they are pushing these dangerous sea theories, which are leading to people not trusting us, which are leading to people not taking our juice, which is leading to death. So they're going to put more flare-ups or diseases out there. It's going to get ugly. And then they're going to say this talking point is why people and this death is spreading. Okay? And the fact that you have to do this lets us know you're losing, buddy. So all we got to do is keep doing what we're doing. All right. They're going to start taking videos down. All right. They're going to take pages down. They're going to get us off the highways and the byways. But that is prophecy. We've already told the people that these things will come in. We've already told the people that this is what Esau was going to do. If you've been listening to us, we've told you clearly this is what's going to happen and this is what's coming. And don't you see it here? So all we can do is give praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because it's going to happen either way it goes, man. And as you can see, the things are getting significantly worse. Okay, things are getting ready to be shut down again. Okay, and this is their only chance, okay, to get this complete. That's why they have to move with such vigor. Okay. So no one's going to be there for us, man, but the Lord and each other. But you may be alone. Okay. And then I thought upon thy mercy, O Lord, upon thy acts of old, how thou deliverest such as wait for thee, and saveth them out of the hands of thine enemies. Then lifted up my supplications from the earth, and prayed for deliverance from death. I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord. I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that he would not leave me in the days of trouble and in the time of the proud when there was no help. And we know who the proud is. The scriptures say the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. See, so they're getting ready to try to make a man an offender for a word. Again, they're wearied in their counsels. Okay? They're being cast down by the words. Okay? And you weak, wicked, all right, suspect Israelites who think you're going to somehow, be accepted of Esau by agreeing with him and speaking against camps, you're going to lose. Okay? Y'all think y'all going to have it easy because y'all against camps? No. Okay, the lie y'all want to be the truth of the gospel is not going to stand. There will be Jacob's trouble. Okay, keep living that lie, and reality is going to soon slap you in the face. Isaiah 47:13, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from the things that shall come upon thee. All right. So they're wearied in the multitude of their counsels. Okay. Really quick. Give me 1 second. So we're living in some very interesting times, man. 1 second. Salakia. We're living in some very interesting times, man. What a beautiful time to be alive. Okay, so they're wearied. The word wearied is la'ah. To be weary, to be impatient, to be grieved, to be offended. They're offended. They're offended at the word. So they're going to make a law to say, if you speaking against me, okay, then they're going to outlaw the Bible. Counsels, itazah. Okay, counsel, advice, purpose, counselors. To consult, to counsel, to devise, to plan, to consult together. So there you go. Okay, hurt. He shall not be able to hide himself, man. So it says remarkably hidden. Okay, here's the plan right here. It says UNESCO also provides advice for anyone who encounters a real life sea theorist, just like vocab is saying, what do you do if you encounter a Hebrew Israelite? According to the UN agency, you must not under any circumstance be lured into their argument. Okay, with the theorist, any argument may be taken as proof that you are a part of the conspiracy and reinforce that belief, and the conspiracy theorists will probably argue hard to defend their beliefs. Instead, you must show empathy, avoid ridiculing them, and if you are a journalist, you must report them to social media and contact your local press for press abusement. Remarkably hidden in fine print, they admit that sea theories do exist, just like vocab just said. they exist, one out of every 100, right? Under the heading, what is a real conspiracy? Okay, so yeah, the devil is going to be the devil. Okay, and as if the devil was going to tell you he's the devil. No, his whole thing was hitting on secrecy, and now they're being more outright with what they're about and what's going on. Okay, they're coming at your children with this alphabet. They're not hiding their agendas. This is their real conspiracy. In 2006, the court in D.C. ruled that a major cigarette companies were guilty of conspiracy for decades. They had hidden evidence of health risks. So they're going to try to use that to make you seem like they do care and they're after evil people. They don't give a damn. Okay, people, cigarettes are still being sold. Let's see here. There's just one problem with the UN's definition of a real theory. The media has been fully bought and paid for by the elite, and it's the elite who are conspiring against the masses. Ask yourself, when was the last time the media unearthed a real conspiracy? Also ask yourself, when was the last time the media covered up one? Yeah, Epstein. But anyway, you can look this article up. I just wanted to report on that. I mean, hey, call halal Yahweh Shemiah Shai, man, because hey, through the fire, all right, we're going to be delivered, okay? And war is on its way. Okay, and that charagma is here as well. We'll be reporting on that soon. Hopefully you all were edified. Hey, and remember the end result of Haman's plot, when you keep reading in Esther, was he himself was hung. Okay, he himself was hung. The gallows that he set up for our people to be hung, Okay, ultimately, he was hung. And that led to what is known as I forget the it's slipping. I said it earlier. Salakia. 1 second here. Haman's pride. You see that? And eventually, Haman lost, man. Okay, eventually Haman lost. His plan came to naught, and he was hung. Okay, so we're gonna see. Okay, because this is a very important part of the movie as well. A lot of you may be tired of this guy's name popping up, but it's a key element within everything that's happening. Okay, so hopefully I edified. Shalom.